Supreme Court declares Executive Order 10 unconstitutional. Federal government begins enrollment of National Youth Service Corps members into the National Health Insurance Scheme. Kaduna State official has been killed in a gunman attack. And on the foreign scene, the United States advises citizens to leave Ukraine amid tensions.
Freedom Global News.
Coronavirus is real and deadly. Do not be confused. Get vaccinated against the virus immediately at the nearest vaccination center. This message is brought to you by the United Nations Children Education Fund, UNICEF. Good evening, you listen to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. I am Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa. Today is the 11th of February 2022. And now the news in full. The Supreme Court has declared as unlawful and unconstitutional the Executive Order 10E010 issued by President Muhammadu Buhari on the funding of state judiciary and legislature. In a split decision today, the majority of the court's 7-member panel agreed that the president exceeded his constitutional powers in issuing the E10 order. 6 out of the 7 members of the panel proceeded to void and set aside the E010 order. The Apex Court dismissed a suit filed by the Attorney General of the 36 states of the Federation in which they sought the funding of state judiciaries by the federal government. The suit, which challenged the widely accepted norm that states are to fund their courts, the plaintiffs argued that it is the constitutional duty of the federal government to fund the capital and recurrent expenditures of states' high courts, as well as their Sharia and customary courts of appeal. But the Supreme Court, in its split decision of 4 justices against 3, and a lead judgment prepared by Musa Dattijo but read by Santos Nwezi, held that the responsibility of funding state courts lies squarely with the state governments. All the 7 members agreed that the states were not entitled to be refunded all they have spent before now to maintain those courts. The judgment was on the suit filed by the 36 states against the federal government on the funding of the judiciary and the constitutionality of the Executive Order 10. The federal government has commenced enrollment of core members nationwide into the National Health Insurance Scheme. Speaking yesterday in Abuja during the flag-off ceremony, the Director General National Youth Service Corps, Major General Shuaib Ibrahim, said the idea to enroll core members into the scheme was born in 2006 after the death of 3 core members deployed to Kano, Zamfara, and Bayelsa States orientation camps. He said the health initiative known as NYC Group Individual Family Social Health Insurance Program had been designed as a holistic health insurance scheme covering the periods of pre-orientation, that is, as soon as a prospective core member picks up his call-up letter, which is the instrument that qualifies him or her for admittance into the national service, and the core member sounds be covered until the end of his terminal leave, which is 3 weeks after disengagement from the service. On the sporting arena, Minister of Youth and Sports Development Sunday Dare and the Nigeria Football Federation chiefs will meet with the Super Eagles players ahead of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Ghana. Correspondent Ahmed Hamsugwali has details of this and other sports updates.
The president of Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, Amaju Melvin Pinnick, revealed that the sport minister Sunday Dare will lead the delegation to meet the players in the United Kingdom in the coming days. The reason behind the scheduled meeting is to remind the players of the importance of qualifying for 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. It could be recalled that the Super Eagles failed to meet expectation in the 2021 African Cup of Nations, and the NFF will leave no stone unturned before the qualifiers. Meanwhile, the president of NFF, Amaju Melvin Pinnick, has defended the national team performance at the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations, saying all they need was better luck. Pinnick, in a series of tweets, insisted the players performed well in Cameroon. The Super Eagles crashed out in the second round following a 1-0 defeat to Tunisia. In another update, the son of Manchester United superstar Cristiano Ronaldo Jr. has signed for the club. The father has always posted images and videos of his son training on his social media platforms. The 11-year-old recently signed for Man United and is officially set to wear the icon Ronaldo 7 jersey, which his father has made legendary. Similarly, West Ham manager David Moyes says Coach Zuma is available of Sunday game at Leicester City amid the controversy of the defender Vin kicking his card. Animal Charity has taken the 27-year-old to court of him as they investigate the incident. Moyes was criticized for picking Zuma against Watford on Tuesday after the video of the legend emerged. And on tennis, Britain Andy Murray was knocked out in the second round of the Rotterdam Open in straight seed by Kenneth world number 1. Felix Auger-Aliassime, the 21-year-old who reached the quarterfinal of the Australian Open last month, win 6-3, 6-4. Ahmad Shugale, Freedom Radio.
The global news is coming to you from Freedom Radio 99.5 FM. You can send your comments, opinions, and watch us live on Freedom Radio Nigeria on Facebook.com. You can get the link to the page on our website, freedomradio.nig.com.
Masoyina, gaskiya na ji daɗin fito wanda muka yi don cin abinci.
Gamuwa na da ke na daga cikin al'amari ɗaya da ke burge ni a rayuwa masoyiyata.
Wannan taron kuma daga ina ta fito.
Kada ki damu, babu ne ba wanda zai bata miki wannan yammaci. Ala baki da labarin comics.
Sha maganin tarin comics. Maganin tarin comics?
Maganin tarin comics shine kake bukata domin samun sauki. Sai ka bare, ka sha, dan ka samu sauki. Kamfanin Orange Drugs Limited ke tallata shi. Sai ku hanzarta domin samun naku maganin tarin comic. Idan tari ya ci gaba bayan kwana 3, sai ku tuntubi likita. Yawwa, na samu sauki yanzu. Ina son ki abin kaunata, kuma ina son maganin tarin comics. Comics. Easy to use, just get drink. Carry wanga.
Welcome back. You're still listening to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. Gunmen numbering 5 in the early hours of today, Friday, assassinated the Director of Operations of the Kaduna Geographic Information Service, Malam Dauda. It was gathered that the attackers breached the security of the victim's house, located in Barakallahu community in Igabi local government area of the state, where they killed him. According to sources, the assailants simply killed the victim and took off, leaving all valuables in the house. It was also gathered that the suspects attacked a nearby community, possibly to divert the attention of members of the community as they conducted their nefarious act. There was, however, no casualty in the other attack. Confirming the incident to Daily Trust, the district head of the community, Alhaji Muhammad Abdullahi, said the divisional police officers of Rugachkun and Bernawa, who are residents of the community, have visited the scene of the crime. He called on the state government to mediate between the community and the NAF over the vast land, which he said is a hiding place for criminals. And on business, Muhammad Abdullahi has updates.
The president of the Cocoa Farmers Association of Nigeria, Adeola Adegoke, said the federal government had been losing about 600 billion naira annually because of its refusal to collect living income differential (LID) for cocoa producers. Adegoke stated this during a workshop organized in Abuja by Agricultural Policy Research in Africa in conjunction with the Department of Agricultural Economics, University of Ibadan. The chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Agricultural, Colleges, Universities and Institutions of Agriculture, Agriculture, Munir Dangagun, said policy on production and sustainable of the cocoa economy must be backed by legislation. He added that the problem with remarkable policies had been the issue of implementation. Meanwhile, the Naira continued its downward trend as the dollar was sold for 417.51 Naira at the official market. The data obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria official website shows the exchange rate result and its monthly moving average yesterday. According to the data, the dollar sold for 417.51 Naira, while it was bought at 416.51 Naira. The Naira took a dip in devaluation against the US dollar 24 hours after it recorded a slight gain at the spot market segment. Muhammad Abba Abdullahi, Freedom Radio.
For tomorrow's weather forecast in some cities in Nigeria and parts of Niger Republic, here's the report.
Kano tomorrow morning will experience clear sky and light wind at 13 degrees Celsius, a later increase to 28 degrees Celsius with sunny sky and a gentle breeze at noon. Kaduna will experience similar weather condition at 17 degrees Celsius, a later increase to 30 degrees Celsius with sunny sky, a light wind. Katsina is expected to have sunny sky, a light wind at 15 degrees Celsius, a later increase to 28 degrees Celsius. Abuja will experience similar weather condition at 20 degrees Celsius, a later change to sunny intervals at 33 degrees Celsius. Lagos will have partly cloudy sky at 25 degrees Celsius, a later increase to 32 degrees Celsius with clear sky and light wind. Moving to Niger Republic, Maradi will experience sunny sky at 15 degrees Celsius, a later increase to 29 degrees Celsius, while Zundar will experience similar weather condition at 17 degrees Celsius, a later increase to sunny intervals and light wind at 28 degrees Celsius at noon. Zahra Osana Abdullahi, Freedom Radio.
On the foreign scene, the United States President Joe Biden has called on all American citizens remaining in Ukraine to leave the country immediately, citing increased threats of Russian military action. Biden said he would not send troops to rescue Americans if Moscow invades Ukraine. He warned that things could get out of hand quickly in the region. Russia has repeatedly denied any plans to invade Ukraine, despite massing more than 100,000 troops near the border. But it has just begun massive military drills with neighboring Belarus, and Ukraine has accused Russia of blocking its access to the sea. The Kremlin says it wants to enforce red lines to make sure that its former Soviet neighbor does not join NATO. The United Kingdom Prime Minister Boris Johnson said on Thursday that Europe faced its biggest security crisis in decades amid the tensions, where the United States Department urged Americans in Ukraine to leave immediately. And with this, we've come to the end of today's global news. But before we go, highlights of the major stories. The Supreme Court has declared as unlawful and unconstitutional the Executive Order 10 issued by President Muhammadu Buhari on the funding of state judiciary and legislature. The federal government has commenced enrollment of core members nationwide into the National Health Insurance Scheme. And on the foreign scene, United States President Joe Biden has called on all American citizens remaining in Ukraine to leave the country immediately, citing increased threats of Russian military action. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa. Have a wonderful weekend.